body to work something out, right? I work things out with my wife, number one, because I'm smart, okay? But number two, because I love her. What if we treated our relationships, and some of us do this, what if we treated our relationships like we treat our churches? I don't like what you said. I'm out of here. You know what? I'm going to tell so-and-so about you too. And I'm going to get them on my side, and I'm going to feel better about myself, because really the problem's with me. 9 times out of 10, the problem is with the person. Now, there are crazy churches out there, okay? I'm not saying there's not. But I'm saying 9 times out of 10, the little grumbling, the little complaining, the leaving the church is because of a lack of love in someone's life. Plain and simple. Because if we love God, we'll love each other. And if we love each other, we work things out. That honors God. That fulfills His command to love one another. If we're supposed to love our neighbor as ourselves, when's the last time you got mad at yourself and left yourself? Some of you have. We are not called to do that. We are called to be peacemakers. We are called to live in harmony with one another. We are called to be unified, and we can't do any of those things if we don't love. So how is this love produced? By God's Spirit. How? By God's Spirit. By spending time with the one who's going to supply it in the first place. In prayer, in Bible study, in listening to God, and allowing Him to produce that. I'll be very honest with you. I was not a very loving person for a long time. And I didn't think I could be. Because I just had a lot of anger issues with divorce and, teenage kid, all this other mess going on. And I just wasn't a very loving person. And I treated people like crap, to be honest with you. And I don't know why, like I've said before, I don't know how I had a friend. Really, I don't. But I did. But I did not know how to love. And when I let go, I said, God, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be that person. He began to work in me and teach me how to love. And man, it's been awesome. And He's still doing that. Because I'm not the greatest at it. I'm going to confess that to you today. Is that I'm not the greatest at this. That it's hard for me to love sometimes. But if we're faithful, God will be more faithful. If we make a decision to consciously walk in the Spirit, as Paul said in Galatians 5, to keep in step with the Spirit, then God will honor that. And we'll be able to see love produced in our lives. And look, here's the thing. We are relational creatures. God created us for a relationship. And those relationships are supposed to be founded and grounded in love. Everything's a relationship. Just imagine how your day would be if you treated all your relationships, all the many relationships that you have throughout the day, if they were founded in love. Right? Did that coworker you don't like come to your head here? Right? Did your mother-in-law, pop up right there? Just think about it. Think about being in line at Walmart. How you're fussing in your head at the person in front of you that's got 12 items in the 10-item checkout list, right? You're grumbling, you're complaining, full of strife, right? What if God sent that person there for you to talk to? And it took an extra 2 items to allow you to have the time to talk to that person. Right? What if? But we won't know the what if we're focused on ourselves. Because love doesn't focus on itself. The picture we have in Jesus Christ is that love gives always. And that love sacrifices. And that love lays itself down for others. That's what love is. So how do we show that in our lives? If you have your Bibles, turn to 1 John chapter 4, verses 7 and 8. 1 John chapter 4, verses 7 and 8. It says, "Dear friends, let us love one another, for love comes from God. Everyone who loves God has been born of God and knows God. Whoever does not love does not know God because God is love. Man, that's the sermon right there. What do you add to that? Dear friends, let us love one another, for love comes from God. Everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God. Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. What he is saying is we cannot come in contact with the creator of the universe and not love. It's impossible, because God is love. He is perfect, holy love. And if we claim to know him, then we better be sure that love is evident in our life, or else we're a bunch of liars. Because it says in his word that we don't know him if we don't have love in our hearts. How do we know we have the love of God in our hearts? Guys, are we critical? Are we self-centered? Are we thinking we always have the answers? You know what I mean? I can't believe so-and-so did that. Got themselves in that mess again. They should have asked me. I would have told them what to do. Right? You know what I'm talking about. We're judging. Love doesn't judge. Love corrects. Love does not judge. But we're good at that as Christians too, aren't we? We'll let you know what we're not about in a heartbeat, right? Yeah, we don't like pink shirts. We don't like drinking and smoking and chewing and all this other stuff, but especially the pink shirts. We don't like those. We'll let you know that in a heartbeat. What if we just said, I love you, to the guy in the pink shirt? I love you. What if we just said, I accept you? Here's the thing, and I heard this from Andy Stanley, and it stuck with me, because I tend to be very black and white. That I see things very practically, that there's a right and there's a wrong and all that, and there's no really in between, or so I thought, okay, until I met Michael Holloway. And I'm saying that I'm being serious, because like he and Steve are a sounding board, because apparently, and I did not know this until they became elders, there are opinions that differ from mine. I didn't know that. Okay? And I'm not always right, which was a shock. I know you're shocked. I'm not always right. And so God has put them in my life to say, look, sometimes you just have to love. And Andy Stanley said this, and it stuck with me, that we can go about as Christians making a point, or we can make a difference. We can tell people, we're for this, we're against this, you're going to hell, we don't like you. Or we could say, I love you because Jesus Christ loved me. Or we can say, there's hope for you because of the love of Jesus Christ. And by that, we can make a difference, which in turn makes a point. That we're about loving people. We're not about judging. Jesus said he didn't come to judge. We're not here to judge. He also says that if you're telling somebody about a splinter in their eye, you better get the log out of yours, right? Now, guys, we have to look at how we love. Not just our spouses, but each other. How do we love this fallen world that God's placed us in this moment, in this time? And what are we doing to reach that? Is our love compelling us to sacrifice for others? Is our love compelling us to give? If it's not, there's a disconnect between us and God. Because the love that He gives us, that He puts in us, compels us to do those things. And if we're not doing them, guys, number one, there's hope. Number two, there's some serious soul searching that needs to take place. Because God is love. And He produces that love in us. And this is the gospel. That God so loved the world that He sent His only Son, that whoever believes in Him will not perish, but will have everlasting life. For God so loved. I want to challenge you this week to take an assessment, to print out Corinthians 13. Stick it in your car, stick it on your mirror, stick it at your desk. And each and every day, assess yourself with that list of what love is like. I don't think conviction is a bad thing, okay? Conviction is a very good thing. And if we don't keep something in front of us, we forget it. And the conviction goes away. I know this. I need to love better. Much, much better. And I know this, that I can't do that without the power of the Holy Spirit in my life. And if Jesus is the model, I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there that all of us need to love better. And we need to love each other better. And we need to resolve conflicts. And I'm not, look, for all those gossips, there's no conflict in the church going on right now, okay? It's like, he was talking about loving. People are leaving. What do you think's going on? Well, I don't know, but he did something the other day I didn't like, and I'll just tell you about that. He can hear you. So, there's no conflict going on right now, okay? I pray that there won't be. So, tighten up. So, I want you to take that and to put it to where you can see it, but also I'm going to challenge you to do this. If you're doing the 3:45 challenge, there are days off on those scheduled days off on those things. Okay, on your scheduled days off, I want to challenge you to read 1 John. Okay, 1 John has a lot to say about love, a whole lot to say about love. So on those days off that are scheduled for this week coming up, read 1 John. Okay, and we'll go over a lot more of that next week. All right, so I'm just going to be honest with you all day, okay? Sometimes when things don't go as you planned, it sort of throws it off, right? I'm holding a mic. Our sound system's jacked up. But I feel rushed. And I'm just being honest with you, okay? But I want to say this, that I feel like this church loves well. That if anything, we had the board back there for Mission 25, and before we even announced what it was for, or please sign the thing, over half the stuff was gone and taken care of just like that. That's love in action. You weren't buying those things for yourself. See, and love takes initiative. You know what I did the other day? I saw a bag of trash, and I took it for my wife. And you're like, good idiot. Do you know what that meant to her? She went on and on about me taking that bag of trash. I was like, I couldn't do better than that, woman. I'll cut the grass next. But I took initiative. I saw it. And I'm like, my thought was, I don't want her hauling. Because let me tell you what, I built a trash can out of old heart pine lumber, but you put a 55-gallon bag in it, okay? Why I did this is because I have a wife and 2 kids who produce more trash per person than anybody you'll ever meet, and I don't know where it comes from, okay? But I got tired of every day coming home, and we had one of those little 5-gallon bags, it's like every day I was taking the trash out. I was like, because I love you and I'm lazy, I'm going to build a larger trash can, right? So now it solved that problem, but she jams everything full, and the kids do too, and now it's like 400 pounds, so I have to take it. So anyway, but I took the trash for her, and she loved it. You know how easy it was for me to take the trash?